Use this video to get your bow hold working, and there's a lot of information and I'm giving you a lot of things to think about. It's a little less boring to watch if you do the things with me with your bow. So grab a bow and let's do some bow hold and some bow exercises. Bow hold. First thing we have to talk about are 4 connection points, 4 different places where we have to pay attention to our fingers. So let's start with the thumb. The thumb connects to the tip of the frog. You can see that right there. There's the tip of the frog right there. So my thumb's going to be right up against that. And my thumb is bent, as you can see. It's not going to be straight, it's going to be bent. And that's our first connection point. Connection point 2 is the center of the index finger is going to rest right on the stick. Not the tip, but the center. And then my 2 middle fingers that are between the pinky and index are just going to rest comfortably on the frog. And then my pinky is going to be on top. And if you're a cello or a bass, your pinky goes over. So to review our 4 connection points for a perfect bow hold, we have the bent thumb, thumb to the tip of the frog, like so. We have center of the index finger resting on the stick, the 2 center fingers attached to the frog, and then pinky on top. What you're gonna find, and I'll step back so you can see this, is that your fingers are diagonal to the stick, but they're not diagonal toward the stick. They're diagonal away because we have the stick of the bow correctly positioned in the center of the index finger. You can see that my bow hold is fairly rounded. Everything we're talking about when we talk about our foundations are in the shape of a circle. Okay, so everything here is rounded, the arm, the hand, and then all the way to the center because of that bent thumb. Once you have a perfect bow hold, you should walk around with it and just work on strengthening the muscles if it's been a while since you've held your bow. There are also some other exercises you can do, so I'm going to walk you through a couple of those right now. Exercise 1 is to keep your shoulder from getting tired. It's just simple lifts up and down, and you're going to go up and down. Similar exercise, you can go side to side with the bow, so you're just kind of going back and forth, and this also strengthens the shoulder muscle and keeps your shoulder from getting too tired when you're holding that bow up and playing. So we're talking about connection points on our bow hold, and what we should also be talking about is balance of the bow. You'll notice that I'm not gripping anything. I can actually take my fingers off the bow, and because my pinky's in the right position and because my bent thumb is in the right position, I can actually lift my fingers off and I'm not at risk of dropping it. That is balancing the bow. If you're gripping the bow, we definitely need to work that out, and you need to start from scratch and go back to just a nice relaxed hold that is fluid and flexible. And this makes your playing sound very nice and sound very delicate as opposed to harsh and scratchy. So let's go ahead and do pinky lifts. We have our bow hold, see everything's looking okay, and the idea here is that only the pinky right there is going to be doing the work, nothing else. I'm going to go up slowly and down slowly. We're going to do this 5 times. The reason we're going up and then down also slowly is for resistance and negative resistance, so that we're not just getting a workout from the lift, but we're getting a workout on the way down too. If 5 is too much, do 3. If 5 isn't enough, do 10. But do it in segments, otherwise you might actually sprain the muscles in this delicate finger. Once you're really feeling comfortable with your bow hold, a lot of times in class we'll do the spider crawl. So the spider crawl is meant to establish finger independence and also finger strength. You notice that the hard part of the spider crawl is going back up. And that's what really strengthens the muscles and makes them all independent. Now, notice that I'm not just doing this any which way. As I let the bow down, my bow hold looks fairly similar. It's still rounded, my fingers are still bent, my index is still in the center, my pinky's still on top. Those things matter, and that's why this takes practice. It's not to be done any which way. When I go up, I have to lift and reestablish myself every time, but I'm still showing that I have a bow hold. Index finger, pinky, bent thumb, everything is still the same on the way back down. It's just a little bit harder to do. The last exercise, which you'll remember from my previous classes, is for once you have a very well-established and correct bow hold. It's like the shoulder lift that we were doing before, except this exercise does something completely different. we keep the elbow at our side and we do the same lift, stick straight up and down. What you'll notice, I'm gonna roll up my sleeve here, take a look at this wrist. It's very flexible as a result of my elbow being at my side. It has no choice but to be flexible. And this is essential that we have flexibility in our wrist while we have a correct bow hold. If you've had some time to practice your bow hold and you've had some time to just walk around the house holding it or watch a movie and hold your bow, do some of your exercises, if your hand is feeling pretty well established, it would be time to pick up the instrument and start to do some simple things like long bows, where you just bow on one string nice and straight, down, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And that builds the foundations for everything that we're going to be doing. Start slow and get the muscles used to doing things again, because tendonitis can happen when you try to do too much too soon, especially if you haven't been playing for a while. That's going to be our lesson for today, getting the bow reestablished, getting the bow hand nice and strong and ready to play some music. And on Friday, we'll continue with George Frideric Handel. Have a great day, everybody.